Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about this episode. I'm going to wait probably till the very end to talk about the Steeler game just because I can't even bring myself to think about I have thoughts on it. Actually, I'm not as upset about it as I was Sunday afternoon. I was really upset Sunday afternoon, if you can believe it. But I'm not gonna I'm not super upset about it right now, and I will give my thoughts on that game. But let's start with, I guess, the Thursday Christmas games. Actually, I did kind of cover those on Friday, so I won't really talk about those as much. They were pretty bad. The Saturday games were. I'm trying to remember who played on Saturday. It was the. I'm gonna have to look this one up. So it was the Chargers Texans, which was kind of a mid game. And honestly, like I've said before, and I'm pretty sure I said it last episode, Rich Eisen is the worst color commentator to watch a game. It's brutal to listen to him talk. I'm sorry. On his show, it's fine. And his show's great. But listening to him commentate an NFL game is one of the worst experiences you can do. It's so bad. And I don't know why. It just is. Like, his voice is not right for it, and the emotion is kind of there, but it's really rough to have to listen to an entire Rich Eisen called game. But man, Stroud came out fire in that game, and the Texans, they're going to be scary come playoff time because with that defense, and then if you got Stroud going like he did, like that team is going to be scary. I'd watch out for them. If the Steelers make it in the playoffs, we're probably going to have to play them or the Chargers, and I'm hoping it's the Chargers. Even though we already lost to them, I still don't want to play Houston. I think we have a better chance against the Chargers. So, and then that Saturday night game that disappointed me so much because I literally made the prediction, hey, the Packers are going to win this game pretty easily, clinch the AFC North spot for the Steelers. It didn't go how I thought it would go. Malik Willis did play good, though, and he's going to get a bag this offseason for sure. He played amazing, even though the team around him didn't play all that well. That fumble, definitely not on him. He's trying to, can at the line or check to something, and I guess the center thought that he was snapping it, but that's inexcusable on the center because you're at home. It's not that loud. You can't. That's inexcusable. That's definitely a mistake you can't be making, especially with so much on the line for my team. And Huntley didn't even play that good. I mean, he didn't do anything amazing. He just gave the ball to Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry did his thing. So, hopefully Derrick Henry got his end-of-season legacy game out of the way, and he won't have to unleash hell on the Steelers Sunday night. If you can't already tell, I'm super worried about the Sunday night game. It's on my mind constantly. It's going to be on my mind until the game is over, and I can't wait for it to be over. Because it's going to be a nail-bite. I'm not here to talk about the Sunday Night Football game. I'm here to react to last week's games. But all I can think about is that Sunday night game. It's tough. It's tough with so much on the line. But that Saturday game did not go the way we wanted it. Obviously, Derrick Henry went crazy. I forgot about Derrick Henry. And I guess Harbaugh decided he was going to play him in the fourth quarter, which, probably a smart thing to do. But hopefully he goes back to not playing him in the fourth quarter next week. And then, Clayton Tune came in because Willis hurt his shoulder, which he was having issues with all week. And he hurt it in the last game against the Bears. And Clayton Tune had to come in and, he made a decent throw, but I believe it got tipped by some receiver, which is the story of the Packers, which is why, and I will hold true to this. If you don't have a number one receiver option, clear-cut number one receiver, you're not going to win a Super Bowl. And you see it time and time again with, the Bills without Diggs, and the Packers have not had a wide receiver one in a long time. I mean, I guess you could say Christian Watson, but, he's not, I don't know, he's not a true, superstar wide receiver number one, or, a superstar tight end, because the Chiefs didn't really have that. They did last year. trying to remember if Rashee Rice was injured or not when they won the Super Bowl, or if that was his rookie year. I can't remember. But then you have Kelsey. So you have like that number one guy that you always go to on third down. The Packers don't really have that. The Bills don't really have that. So I would be surprised if I saw them win a Super Bowl. And now that I said that out loud and I'm going to post it, they're probably going to win this. It's probably going to be Packers-Bills Super Bowl. Because I guess that's what happens on this stupid show. Anyways, moving on. Sunday, the Bucs' downfall needs to be studied by scientists. I mean, how do you start the season 5-1 and then you go 2-8 after that? We need to have a conversation. And I haven't been watching them very closely, but in the games that I have seen of them, Baker hasn't been anything amazing. He hasn't been anything special. And he's the thing that makes the offense go. If he's not playing good and if he's off, the entire offense is going to be off. Obviously, because he's the quarterback, but because he's like the heart and soul of that team. And maybe he's been dealing with injuries, but 2-8 over the last 10 games, that's insane. It's insane to start so good. And at least the Colts have an excuse. They lose their starting quarterback, and they trade for Sauce Gardner, and then he gets injured. So at least the Colts have some excuses. But I don't think the Bucs have had any major injuries. I know Bucky Irving's been in and out, but Sean Tucker stepped up, and he's played pretty good. And then you have a stacked wide receiver core who has been battered up. But, Ibuka was on fire to start the year, and then you get Evans back, and you still can't win games. And to lose to the Quinn Ewers-led Dolphins, that's just embarrassing. That's just embarrassing. Especially when you're in the playoff race. That's a tough one to take if you're a Bucs fan. So bad. And then I'm trying to think through the rest of these games without looking at them. But the Saints kept on rolling. That was actually a decent game. I didn't watch much of it just because it's Saints-Titans. But it was a decent game. And Tyler Shook has been kind of hooping lately. And he may win Rookie of the Year. His stats aren't the best, but they've won 4 or 5 in a row with him starting. That's pretty. He's been really good. And then the Patriots, I'm looking at it on my phone right here on ESPN. The Patriots blew out the Jets 42-10. Drake May had 5 passing touchdowns or something crazy. He had 4 in the first half. He was ridiculous. I didn't think he was going to get the MVP, and then Matthew Stafford played last night. And it honestly may have locked up Drake May's MVP, if we're being honest. Matt Stafford had an atrocious game last night. Just bad. Just bad all around. So, we'll see. I think he threw 3 picks last night. So, we'll see how that MVP race, how it shakes things up. But that's a terrible game. You can't lose to the Falcons this late into the season, especially when the Falcons are this bad. Seahawks-Panthers kind of went the way everyone thought it would go just because the Panthers are so on and off. Good one week, bad the next week. And they're playing Tampa Bay for the division next week, so we'll see what they can do. Even if they lose, though, I'm pretty sure even if they lose, if the Falcons beat the Saints next week, the Panthers are still in no matter what. Because those three will have the same record. They'll have the same record as the Bucs, but they'll have a higher strength of schedule, win percentage-wise. So, I'm pretty sure if the Falcons beat the Saints, then no matter what happens, Bucs, Panthers will win the division, which I've been a Panthers I've been a Panthers supporter. I have kind of said that they were my underdog team going into the year that no one really thought about, and it's come true. I was right. So, I do know ball, but I just wasn't making videos back then, so I guess none of you really know if I actually said that or not, but I'm going to have some friends testify for me, I guess, because that does kind of look bad now that I think about it. And then let me jump into some other games here. Bengals-Cardinals wasn't anything special, except for that O-lineman play. That was pretty funny. He threw it to the O-lineman. He got 20 yards downfield. That was hilarious. Jags-Colts, decent game. Phillip Rivers, last game. What a time. That was real. It was really fun. If he doesn't play Week 18, it was really fun to see Phil Rivers play. That was pretty special. Kind of like a blast from the past, to our childhood of growing up and watching him play. So that was awesome. We won't forget this year. This NFL season going. No, this is on topic. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm not going off topic. This is completely on topic. The NFL has been great this year. This has been one of the best seasons I remember watching since I've been watching the NFL. I mean, first of all, you have the insane parity. Anyone can beat anyone more than ever. And I'm not sold on any of the number one seeds or any of the playoff teams. I really think it's going to be close playoff games throughout the entire playoffs, no matter what, which is going to be really exciting, really good for football, and just awesome from a fan perspective because you get all these great games. Anyone can beat anyone. And then you've been seeing instant classics every other week. It's been insane games every week. It's been awesome. It's so fun. It's the best sport in the world, and I love it. And with college football kind of being somewhat of a disappointment this year, at least from a Gamecock fan perspective, the NFL has really picked up the slack. Best sport in the world, the most entertaining sport by far. So much fun to watch this year. It's probably been my favorite season of NFL football since I've been watching, which has been like 8 or 9 years. So, and then you have the Tank Bowl. I did not watch really a single second of that game. Sorry, I was watching the Bills Eagles. I was playing some Madden. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I did not watch a single second of that game. Bills Eagles was a pretty boring game up until the fourth quarter when the Bills started to make a little bit of a comeback, and it was really cool to see just because of the weather. The weather was crazy, and they were still out there, competing and making some good throws. And then that last sequence, I do agree going for two because you don't really want to go to overtime, especially in those conditions, and especially with the way the game has gone for you. I kind of understand it, but on the other hand, your defense was getting stops. So, it's kind of a questionable decision. I would have gone for two if I was Sean McDermott, but I'm not. I'm obviously not an NFL head coach. You should see me play Madden. So I would have gone for it. They didn't get it. That's just how it plays out. If they'd gotten it, you would say McDermott's a genius. So it's just the way it goes. You live and die with Josh Allen, so you take what you can get. But that was a fun game. Sunday Night Football, Bears-Niners is probably the closest thing we've gotten to Rams-Chiefs in 2018, if we're being honest. That was a great game. Really fun, just back and forth football. Caleb Williams is great. Brock Purdy, hello. Brock Purdy is great. He's elite. He's no longer just this system quarterback anymore. He's making superstar plays and having crazy games. Brock Purdy, man. The Niners are looking pretty good for how injured they are. Their two best players injured. Well, best defensive players. I guess McCaffrey's probably better than one of them. Probably better than Fred Warner. But their two best defensive players by far injured, out for the year. And they're competing for the 1 seed. So, I'm a fan of the Niners. I'm a fan of Brock Purdy. I've always been a fan of Brock Purdy. But, man, he's really been playing some good ball. Really good ball. It's been really fun to see, though, too. And then last night, it was a fun game last night, but Stafford played himself right out of the MVP race. Drake Maye is probably my pick to win MVP now, just because with what he's done and how they were last year. Drake Maye would probably be my guess at MVP this year. Good thing I don't have a vote, though. And it pains me to say it because historically I hate the Patriots, but I can't help but kind of like this Drake Maye Patriots team, but just don't tell anyone. We'll keep that a secret. I don't really want that to get out there, that I enjoy watching Drake Maye play football. But Monday Night Football last night was it was a good game. Puka almost had one of the craziest, most clutch catches of all time. One-handed, left-handed on the sideline. He just bobbled it at the end, but that was crazy. Almost caught it. That was insane. It was a good game. It was a good game. It was a fun watch for sure. All right. I guess we'll talk about the Steeler game because we kind of have to. First of all, trading George Pickens was the worst decision this team has made in a long time because DK Metcalf is great, and I love DK Metcalf. But when you have situations where he can't play, whether that be injury or whether that be a dumb incident with a dumb fan, you don't have your number one option out there. So, yes, when he's on the field with Thielen and MVS, it's a lot different. It's night and day difference because you have to put some presence on Thielen and MVS, and it takes some of the pressure off of Metcalf so we can see some of these one-on-one throws to Metcalf, and he's making plays, but then when you want to cover him, then Rodgers will go find MVS or Thielen like he did in that Detroit Lions game because their goal was to shut down Metcalf, and then he just found Thielen and Freiermuth and MVS. Now, when you take out Metcalf out of the equation, you don't really have to do much work to cover Thielen and MVS and Freiermuth. So it's going to be a lot more difficult, and we're going to have to go play I honestly, Baltimore is the better team, obviously, but defensively, I would say they're worse. So I'm not super upset by it just because you are without Metcalf and you're playing one of the best defenses in the league. Even though the Browns are 4-12 now, they still have one of the best defenses in the league. So it's not the worst loss ever. It looks bad, and it is bad, and it hurts. But you still go play a Baltimore team that, with Tyler Huntley playing, I like our chances because we have a good run defense now with Derek Harmon in there. And if we could get Watt back, that would be huge. I don't think it's very likely that we'll get Watt back. If Lamar doesn't play, that'd be huge because all you have to really focus on is Derrick Henry. And you make Tyler Huntley beat you. And if Tyler Huntley can beat you, then you I guess you have to live with it. You got to find a way. But their defense is not as good as the Browns' defense. You know? They have potential to be, but they haven't been this year. So, but back to my point is that if we had George Pickens as a wide receiver too, and then Metcalf goes out, you still have to focus on George Pickens. And even when both of them are on the field together, that would have been a dream come true. Rodgers would have been lighting it up this year if we had those two guys because one of them's going to be open. One of them's going to get one-on-one coverage. You can't double team everyone because then you're going to have open guys over the middle. So I wish we could have seen that. I'm still upset that they traded him. And look at what he's doing in Dallas, paired up with CeeDee Lamb. We could have had the same thing on the Steelers, but we traded him away for attitude problems. And then the guy we get in, who doesn't have attitude problems, is fighting fans. So, which that's a whole separate issue, which I'm on DK Metcalf's side pretty much 100%. That fan is an idiot, but it doesn't take away the fact that he went up and pushed him and got himself suspended for 2 games, which may keep us out of the playoffs if we can't beat Baltimore. So, the point that I took away from this is that the defense is good. Our defense is good. We just gotta get it together on offense, and it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because we don't have our number one guy. So we're gonna have to scheme. We're gonna have to be able to run the ball, and we're gonna have to scheme in some play action or something. The game plan better be. This is it. Like all cards on the table. Could be potentially last game of the season. You're gonna have to go out there and really have a sound game plan on Sunday night. But I'm not here to talk about Sunday night. I'll be talking about that on Friday, and I'll also be talking about the college football playoffs. I don't have really any predictions. I guess I can go through real quick and say who I think is going to win. Not going to give you much about it, but I'm going to say who I think is going to win because I want to be able to say that I got all these 4 games right. Miami, Ohio State. Give me Ohio State. Not a very close game. Oregon, Texas Tech. I like Oregon. I think Oregon will get it done. Bama, Indiana. Give me Bama. That's my upset pick. And then give me Georgia. So, yeah, Ohio State, Oregon, Bama, Georgia. Those are my picks. And I love Indiana, and I really hope Indiana wins. But I think if Bama plays their best game, which they should, I don't think Indiana will be able to beat them. And maybe that's a crazy thing to say, but come back on Friday when I'm right. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in Friday's episode where we break down what happened in the college football playoffs and then also predict some of the NFL games as well. Not all of them, but some of the more important ones. So, I'll be back on Friday. Enjoy your New Year's and watch some football on Thursday and Wednesday night. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good games, hopefully, because we don't have any group of 5 teams playing. So, why is that? Because they suck, and I was right.